Hi, I'm Goodwill Mabena, the revenue operations strategist for a technology startup in Port Elizabeth. We sell production lines and we sell software as a service around the world.
What inspired you to pursue a career in your industry?
For me, it actually wasn't persuasion. It's actually the universe conspiring in my favor. Because what happened is that I came into the industry as a digital marketing lead, and the success of that, we won 2 technology company awards from Centec, and that allowed me to then expand into revenue operations, which is basically the combination of 3 departments: sales, marketing, and customer nurturing. So when I moved into that space, it wasn't a conversation of interest and pursuit, a direct pursuit. It was a culmination of everything happening at the right time, in the right way.
Can you describe a typical day in your work or at your job?
Yeah, that is actually crazy because one of the things, we start at 7:30 and I leave at 4:30. So my day is quite expansive. The first 2 hours is basically emails, making sure that I am in tune with everything that is happening. Technical department, understanding what are the challenges that we have from a technical perspective of the software product. Sales guys to figure out how many sales have we gotten, what are the opportunities, what leads do we have, and then there's the marketing team, where are those guys at, and trying to marry the energy together to see if we are all moving at the same time. So the first part of the day is emails, catching up to meetings, and then the middle part of the section, this is like between 11 and 12 o'clock. This is when you are in a lot of software developing conversations. How is the product doing? What are the bugs? What is the customer feeling? How are we selling it? How are we scaling it? And what are the business development around what we're trying to do? Is the product that we are currently offering ready? Is it ready for the market? How are we making sure that the customer is actually delivered to at the highest level that we potentially can? So my day is on a Monday, it would look like that. On a Tuesday, depending on the climate, I would potentially be at a customer doing a case study about how the product is actually working on the line. So then it means organizing the department. Where are we getting the cameras? How are we getting to the customer? I'm in Eastern Cape, so how are we getting to Cape Town? All of those things, right? So that's basically my day. That's how my day works. If I'm answering the question properly.
And what skills do you think you need to have or are important for someone in revenue operations?
So one of the things that is very interesting for the software business, any software business that has a business model that is subscription based, you kind of have to understand the customer. And by the customer, what I'm talking about is, what does the customer actually do? One of the things that is important is to figure out what is the now. So if you're going to get to a factory and a customer is trying to buy a platform that is 10 million euros, right? What is their now? How is their system working? What is their workflow? Understanding the customer at the level where you're so obsessed that when you give them a product, it actually fits into the system. You don't have to spend a lot of energy and money to now implement and convince them that they have a product they don't know about. So the kind of skill that you need to have, it's a very tricky conversation because you need to have the ability to actually care, have sympathy for the customer to the point where you are willing to put on your overalls, go to the factory, feel what the technicians are going through if they are using our platform, and then you look at the whole buying personality, right? So what I mean by that is you have the finance guy who's a different buying personality. You have the maintenance manager, if this is a CMMS, a computerized maintenance management system. What does the production supervisor deal with? How does he interact with his workflow? What does the maintenance supervisor deal with? What does the technician deal with? The CEO, what is their ROI, right? So if you're going to go and deliver the product to a customer, you need to have a full customer buying journey to fully figure out what are the different avenues that are in and care for them at that level. And if you have the ability to do that, then you can do more than just revenue operations, because revenue operations as itself, as a concept, is fairly new. It's about 3 years old, right? So when we were still in school, we were not pursuing revenue operations. The industry is changing at such a rapid pace. I'm actually quite interested to see what the kids in school are studying to become, because it's changing and it's ever evolving as we are evolving with it. So the soft skill would be customer-centric obsession.
And how do you maintain a work-life balance?
Work-life balance. That's actually a very important one. When I started in 2021 and I moved down to Port Elizabeth, I was struggling because in a 40-hour work week, I am basically pushing myself to 38 hours, right? You don't have a life. And then I'm a swimmer, right? I'm an athlete swimmer. So on the 20th of August, I'm actually swimming the corporate Isuzu Ironman, right? So this is 350 meters open ocean water swim, right? We're swimming in the ocean deep in, right? And so now when I'm preparing for that, it means on a normal work week, I'm swimming 3 kilometers twice a day, 3 times a week. So that's about 3 kilometers, 6 kilometers a day times 3. That now puts me in a different environment where I'm not dealing with customers, I'm not dealing with ROI, not dealing with marketing, I'm not dealing with the metrics and the numbers. I can literally just be in the pool and do my numbers. So that's my kind of way to have a full life experience. I'm a creative at heart. So one of the things that I do when I'm not in my 9 to 5, right, which is the corporate stuff, is be a creator, right? I'm creating stuff. So the ability to literally exist in a time where South Africa is very warm right now and rich in the industry in terms of the creative world. So I collaborate a lot with Function Creative Company in order to have the ability to actually move there full time. But that's my whole ecosystem of how I can exist and be relevant in my work-life balance.
And what trends do you see emerging in your market?
So that's a very interesting question, which is really broad. One of the things that is really difficult, that is challenging for an annuity business, is if you're going to have a rigorous sales team that is getting the customers at scale, right? Retaining the customers at scale is just as important because these things have to work together. I'll give you an example. If you have an account that you're paying for Netflix is $165 per month, right? If you can cancel the subscription at any time, it means that the work that Netflix would have done to get you to be a customer has to be just as heavy to keep you there in the platform, right? So one of the things that is emerging in the market is that it's easy to get the customers, but it's difficult to keep them. Instagram is having that problem. You got a lot of people to come in, and then TikTok is now coming in to take those people away. YouTube had a similar problem. A lot of people are coming in, but you can't keep them in. So the things that are emerging in the industry is how do you keep customers? And again, I'm in a B2C model, meaning that we are selling business, not business to C, business to business, B2B model. We are selling business to business. The way you sell a product, business is very different the way you sell a product, business to a consumer, right? And so it's understanding the market. How is the market moving? How am I going to sell to VW a production line when they have process security and all of these tough, difficult parts, right? So then you need to create different buying personality of data profiles. Okay, this is the CEO, this is the plant manager, this is the finance officer, right? How am I communicating with these people? But simultaneously, what platform am I using to communicate to these people to try and get them to buy a product from us? So retaining customers is becoming really, really a challenging obstacle that industry has to solve.
And how important is networking for career advancement within the industry?
I don't think you can go anywhere without networking. And one of the things that is important is whenever you think about business, one of the things that boggles my mind when I think about it is if you think about companies like Pepco, you think about some of the Pakistani guys that are in South Africa that are selling, the infrastructure to be able to have the same product across South Africa at the same time. It doesn't matter which Pakistani shop you go. And of course, we can say that they are not formal, right? They're informal. But if you want Albany, it's there. Then the question becomes, how do they make sure at scale in the whole South Africa, they have the same product at the same time all the time, right? That infrastructure is incredibly difficult to get. But once you have it, then you can move a lot of things. Because if you can move bread across South Africa, then you can also move a shirt. And I feel in industry, especially currently in terms of industry, we are not networked enough to be able to have an infrastructure that is moving together, right? And so collaboration is super important. Networking is super important. Scattered as a platform, Function Creative Company as a platform, when we look at it from a whole perspective, a bigger perspective, we need to see the system that we could move together as one as, right? The synergy that is created with the infrastructure. So that is important. We're not going to be able to take it to the next level if we're not going to work in network businesses. Uber, just to give a quick one on Uber. Uber is a network business. Uber provides the platform. They don't need to recreate Google Maps, right? So now if Uber creates the platform, it's a network business. You have a consumer who has a need. You have Google Maps who's a vendor who has a need. You are the platform. You connect the two. You solve a problem. You don't get an Uber without the network, the relationship between Google Maps, the drivers, and the cars. Right. So once we start thinking about that as creatives, as industry people, that we need to collaborate together in network to create an infrastructure that is going to transcend the business, I don't see it in my personal capacity going anywhere. So it's incredibly important.
Can you share a mistake that you've made early on in your career that you think has been very pivotal in how you've lived life?
A mistake that I made that was pivotal and changed the way that I see life would have to definitely be, I think us as young people coming into industry, I mean, I'm only 25. We don't understand what commitment means. right? We don't understand what, if you have a payroll at the end of the month that is 92,000 and it's the 18th, people need to get paid on the 25th. How are you making sure that people get paid on the 25th consistently, right? The commitment to say, I am actually going to make it happen. Not they could have, not we should have. It's on the 25th, we are going to make sure that we get it to happen. And that commitment discontinuity is one of the biggest mistakes that I made, because I could have in 2021, and I'm very young, I still have a lot of time to do this stuff, but I could have gone into the creative industry full time, and not full time to try it and fail, full time to try it and fail and do it again until I get it to happen. Right? That kind of commitment, that kind of rigor where you're saying, even if I fail 9 times, the 10th is the one. I'm not going to fail 2 times, lose 100,000, and I'm like, it's time to go to Discovery. Hey, Adrian, I need to give you my CV. No, we're in it. If you make a decision that this is what I'm doing, I'm dedicating my life to it, you commit. I wish I had done that sooner.
What's been the happiest moment of your career?
Ooh, happiest moment of my career is having the freedom to do what I want when I want to. That has really, really been interesting. GenderMark as a company has been an incredible space for me, in the sense that the job that I do is so new that you have to figure it in the job, because there's no expert that can tell you about it. So to have the ability to come into the office and I don't have anybody telling me what to do. 2, nobody knows what to tell me what to do. So to be in the space where I can do whatever I want, whenever I want it, as long as I deliver the product, right? And I get the ROI, I couldn't ask for anything better.
And what are some of the compensation options that are within your market for people that are entry-level, mid-level, and high C-suite?
So you're talking about money, right?
Yes.
What are people earning?
Yes.
I wanna spin that a bit, and I want to share something that I think is very important for young people. One, young people don't know how to price themselves, which is really interesting for me. If you coming out, you studied actuarial science and you're coming out in an industry, you don't know what you're worth. You don't know how much you need to price. It's like creatives do this all the time. When you're creating a product, you don't know how to price it, right? And so one of the things that is really important, particularly into people who are studying degrees to come into corporate, is to understand you are not selling your skills. Skills are transferable. I can replace you any day. You are selling your opportunity cost, which means if you were not here, what else could you be doing? That is X amount. So if I can make a commercial and make 100,000 Rand, and I'm sitting in the office and I'm earning 60,000 Rand, I'm losing 100,000 Rand. So the conversation of the money, it can move from you are earning 60,000 Rand a month to 300,000 Rand a month in the corporate space. Or you could now think unconventional and think about, if I'm a revenue operations strategist, I'm working for a technology startup, I have a 9 to 5, I am earning X amount, right? And that can change, vary from 35 if you're starting to 60 if you are mid, or 85 CTC, cost to company. But now the bigger conversation becomes, how do you work for GenderMark, being a revenue operation, and then think about the infrastructure and now do the same thing you are doing for GenderMark for a HubSpot in America through a network platform like Fiverr or Upkeep, or not Upkeep, Upwork, where you're doing freelancing work. So you're working 4 hours during the day on your 9 to 5, you're working 4 hours on your other side, and then now you have 2 salaries. So if you're earning 40,000, you can make 80,000 Rand a month just by rethinking how you think about the ideal value.
Has everything been worth it thus far? All the mistakes?
I think if it wasn't worth it, I wouldn't be given the opportunity to be having the conversation with you. So all of the mistakes and all of the good things, they are coming together to create this moment. So it's a tricky question, but I think that I wouldn't be here had it not been for everything that has happened the way that it did.
And lastly, are you happy?
Am I happy? Happiness is a moment. Happiness is a moment. It's very circumstantial. I think the better question is, are you fulfilled? And no, I'm not fulfilled in my corporate work, job. I want to move full time into creativity, and I think that is where my fulfillment will be found. Will I be happy then? Depends on the moment.
Cool.